and then this year 790, and he was terrible defensively.
Right. No, I'm not disputing that, but that's going to be a pattern here, Ryan. So
good point.
Right.
And I think too, if you added him, like you said, I mean, who do we have to play second base right now? Frazier and Kramer. I mean, the defense isn't really that great there. But I think Murphy also could be that first baseman, relief for Bell too. Like, we don't have Freeze next year.
Very true.
We don't have Freeze next year. Bell's defense is not the greatest. So he could chip in over there. He could come in, later in the games because Hurdle loves the defensive replacements. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, depending on the price tag, I wouldn't hate it.
Right, but that's what I'm kind of insinuating is I'm maybe looking at this could be a buy low scenario. I think teams might be scared off that he is this old, and he's coming off this season, and maybe the price tag isn't going to be up there, and that's where the Pirates come in and scoop him up. And then he can kind of come back and be a productive player. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when he went to the Cubs run, in 35 games, he had a .9 WAR. Basically 1 WAR in 35 games. So, I mean, after that trade and he came back, he was actually healthy at that point in time, he did produce. 115 weighted run created plus. Solid actual defensive marks. Solid. Not great, just solid enough. He was productive with the Cubs. So that inspired me to think that maybe there's still something left in the tank for him, even at that age. So maybe you get like a 2-year deal and it ends up being 2-year, 15, 18, maybe something like that slides. I don't know. I'm insinuating, but
yeah,
maybe something cheap. Like maybe he falls to you.
I don't know if he's going that low, but we'll see.
What if it's 2-year 20?
Yeah, I mean, I'd sign up for that.
Okay.
But who knows?
So that's why it's my treat. But we spent too much time. So next man up, Asdrubal Cabrera, which he's on their second base. He could be short, third, first.
Yeah, he'll play
maybe
all
even
over
pitcher.
the infield.
I don't know.
Yeah, Cabrera's like this. He just is there and he keeps doing it. Like this year, 23 home runs, 774 OPS. Like you mentioned, can play second, third, short. 36 doubles. Now, look, I wanted Cabrera at the deadline. I was like, go get him. You needed someone to upgrade that middle infield. But it's going to be 33. I don't know. This guy always he's just there. He just keeps performing. Not great, but he has some power. But I don't know. At that age, I can't sign up for it. I think it's a trick. Yeah, you don't agree.
No, I'm with you. I can't hate anything you said because that's exactly like I'm waiting for him to fall off. Like when is he going to be irrelevant? But he just keeps proving that he's just going to be there. And I think a lot of it has to do with how he came up in Cleveland, and you saw like superstar, and then he really fell off pretty hard, and then he came back. So you're just like waiting, like okay, this is just an anomaly. Like when's he going to go back to being bad again? And he just doesn't. So it's like I'm with you too, and then of course with the Pirates do sign him, that's when he's gonna fall off. So let's just not let that happen. Just don't sign him.
All right, next up, DiNardo. I think I know where this is going. DJ LeMahieu.
No, stop! Trick! You've been tricked by the Coors.
The Coors trick.
Everything in Coors tricks you, whether it's the beer or the baseball.
Remember when you went trick or treating and the family would hand out like the pop cans, like the full 16-ounce cans? This is like the guy that doesn't give an F, and he's handing out candy, but he's just dropping Coors Light into your bag.
It's a trick because you want to drink it, but you're not allowed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't do it. I mean, you want to talk about the Coors effect? This guy cannot hit outside of Coors Field. He can't do it. And on top of that, even at Coors, he's not hitting as well anymore. Like look at this season. He's come off a season where he's bat 276 on base, 321. His WRC plus is 86. I mean, he's just steadily declined. He had that breakout year in 2016. That's the only year he had above average numbers offensively. That's it. A 1-year anomaly. That's how I look at this guy. And he's still eating off that. And the fact that he's only 30 years old, And he has these numbers per se. Like, to me, I almost feel like someone's going to buy into him over Daniel Murphy because he's 30. I'm looking at some numbers, and I believe
he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, someone's going to buy into him, and Daniel Murphy's just going to sit there, and the Pirates are going to scoop him up for cheap, and he's going to be the better player.
Yep.
4.4, 1.9, 2. Those are his WARs the past 3 years. And 2, this year is the second highest WAR he's ever had in his career. So, yeah. I mean, he's proven that he's not really this great. Now, he's a great defender. But the bat, the Coors effect. That's it. He's not like really an everyday player. He's probably like a David Freese type. He's good for that role, but not a guy to rely on to turn around your club.
I stopped listening a while back. Next.
All right. So next up, we have Jed Lowry.
Man, I think I'm buying in. I think this guy. I think it's a treat. Look, he's old. He's going to be 35. The dude's coming off back-to-back 4 WAR seasons. Now, had this been coming off of 2017, I probably would have told you trick. But the dude followed it up with a 4.8 WAR season. The power's suddenly there. I mean, he had power back even in Houston. He had a 16 home run season there in limited time. 23 home runs this year, 14 last year. 2 back-to-back 800 OPS seasons. Can play third, can play second. Pretty good defensively. He can hold his own. It's got to be reasonable. I wouldn't sign him past a 2-year deal, but I'm buying in. I think this is a treat. 353 OPS. On base percentage 360 the year before. I'd take a Jed Lowry at second or second or third base to play off Moran, or to play on Moran off days and play at second on other days. Absolutely.
I'm with you. And it's weird. I mean, you want to talk about the ultimate, just like late in your career, having like resurgence years,
I think he's just a late bloomer.
Sox.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be a good player to watch, in the future. And he never really lived up to it. And yeah, he went to the Astros, athletics, teeter back and forth. And you never really saw it. And then, like now, these past 2 years, like you said, last year you felt like it was a 1-year wonder. It ain't going to happen. No, he did even better this year. I'm with you. I'll take his production. Even if he fell off and went, if he lost 2 WAR, he's at a 3 WAR. I'm going to take that all day. Have you seen our middle infield? So I'm with you. I don't know. You keep hearing all these rumbles that the A's are looking to, re-sign him and such, but
yeah,
you still haven't. I haven't seen it. So
I don't know. Like Eduardo Escobar that just came out of nowhere, and they're like, we talked about him for a whole episode, and then the Diamondbacks re-signed him.
Treat.
It was
the Diamondbacks got themselves an early treat.
That was a nice deal they signed. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was.
But Lowry, I just think he was a late bloomer. I didn't think he really got an opportunity. He was always kind of that utility guy, and he's proved it the past 2 years, man. I mean, back-to-back 4 WAR seasons. He's no spring chicken, but I don't know, man. Maybe he's getting better with age.
Maybe.
Sign me up.
He's no spring chicken, but he's a fine wine.
All right, next. All right. Next up, here we go. Brian Dozier. This guy. This is tough. This guy.
In
the World Series.
I'm torn on Dozier. You've already heard what I've said before about him. It's a risk, but I gotta feel this is a treat. Even though the risk is there, and that's what we're talking about. I mean, you got to be risk savvy. You got to try to deter risk. So even if you sign Dozier, there's a risk, and he could end up being a 0 WAR player. But to me, I think there's a bigger chance of him turning around being closer to the 5 WAR player than the player he was this year. But how you said about Daniel Murphy. This is a guy in his contract year, and man, it's the worst season he ever had. So timely. That's what the Pirates need, guys like this to lower their costs. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think he's going to get. Okay, so go back like you said about or whomever. If he's coming off a free agent in 2017, this dude's getting paid. It's almost like Ian Desmond when he turned out the Nationals contract. Like had he come off 2017, this dude's getting paid. But because of the season he had last year, You know, I don't know if he's going to Ian Desmond 1 year, $8 million for the Rangers, but he's not going to get paid the way he is. So I don't know. You look at his numbers, his walk rate still exactly the same as the year before. His K rate basically exactly the same. The isolated power was down. His exit velocity was down. But, I mean, his BABIP was down tremendously as well. You know, I could see a turnaround. There was an injury. I don't know. I feel like this might be a treat. I'm more on the side that if you sign Dozier, he's going to be a 5-WAR player than on the side of if you sign Dozier, he's going to be a bust. So if he's somewhere in the middle, that's still a treat.
And if you want that power, like you said, that risk, but that chance of elite power, game-changing power at the second base position, I mean, Dozier's it.
Yeah. And he still had 21 homers last year, you know?
Right.
Like
and Minnesota and L.A., not exactly the greatest home run hitter parks ever.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
So, all right. Moving on.
All right. So, next up and last for the second baseman is Daniel Descalso.
This is a trick. I mean, the dude, I'll be quick on this one. I mean, the dude can play all over the place. That's his value. Almost like an Adam Frazier. I mean, he can play anywhere. He pitched this year, DiNardo.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, Descalso. No, I don't want him starting. It's a trick. It's you see that house, you know what they're handing out, you just skip it.
You're just skipping the house.
Exactly.
Nice.
All right, let's go to outfield. We'll try to do these quick here. Adam Jones, DiNardo, is going to be available, believe it or not. Unless the Orioles re-sign him, because he likes Baltimore.
Yeah. Well, you know, he didn't have a bad year offensively. It wasn't horrible by any means. 98 weighted run created plus, so it was about average. But he's definitely, you know, longer in the tooth now. He's 33, he'll be 34. Definitely not like the center fielder we know of. And the thing is, like, we might need an outfielder. But if we do, we kind of need one like a 1 year assurance and maybe a guy that ends up being like a fourth outfielder if Polanco comes back healthy. So I feel like this is actually going to be a trick because I think Adam Jones is going to get paid more, go somewhere else. But I feel almost as if we might need to find someone like an Adam Jones, a servable replacement for some time that we know is not going to be great, but might add some value. I think he can do that, but yeah, he's going to get paid too much for what we need. So to me, it's a trick.
Yep, I'm with you there. Plus, I think he's declining. I mean, he is.
Well, he is. Yeah,
that's not a hot take.
Right. And water is wet. All right, Ryan. Nick Markakis.
Nah, this is a trick. Somebody is going to overpay for this guy because of the great year he had in 2018. I mean, an unbelievable, finish, kind of almost cap to his career. He was a professional hitter, always got it done, was, under the radar. Played 162 games, got his first All-Star appearance. Somebody's going to overpay for him. He's going to be 35. It's a trick. I don't like it. I like Markakis, but nah, it's going to be a trick because somebody's going to overpay.
Right.
He was really good, though, this year. But I'm just not buying it, continuing on every year after this. All right. And then, DiNardo, that brings us to Andrew McCutchen. I think we've heard of him before.
Is this the San Francisco treat?
I see what you did there.
Oh.
It wasn't a treat for them.
No, it wasn't. So we talked about this. And I'm still on board with this because, like you said, right, we're going to go get horrible. We are going to sign to arbitration Corey Dickerson, and then he's going to leave us after this year, right? So we could be potentially down an outfielder. I feel like this might be a treat. Now, is it going to happen? It's probably very unlikely, but Andrew McCutchen, I think, could come of value. Again, he's 33. There's some younger. AJ Pollock's younger. People might invest into him. There's some younger guys. So, I don't know. The defense isn't there, but if you have Dickerson this year, Marte in center, Cutchen right where he's been good at, that's not the worst thing in the world. That's a good outfield for a team that wants to go for it. And then, Dickerson leaves, and now you have Polanco, Cutchin, Marte back again. I don't know.